What's up, everybody, and welcome to Unplugged, the physical cost of AI.
Welcome to the debate. Today we are looking at the precipice of artificial general intelligence, or AGI. We are not just talking about better chatbots anymore. We are discussing the transition to systems capable of recursive self-improvement.
Yeah, AI that designs better AI.
Exactly.
And the market is reacting with absolute frenzy to this. But the central question here isn't just about the technology itself. It is about the dynamic of the race to build it. Are we looking at a space race? A prestige-driven economic boom? Or is this a nuclear arms race, a zero-sum game with existential stakes?
Right. Well, I represent the view that this transition parallels the Industrial Revolution and the space race, driving massive economic growth and silicon sovereignty.
And I take the position that the nuclear analogy is much more accurate, focusing on the safety paradox and the inherent instability of unverified software.
I see that nuclear comparison often, but I really think it misses the mark. We are witnessing a sort of Stargate project mentality. That is a potential $500 billion infrastructure build-out in the U.S. alone. PwC projects a $15.7 trillion injection into the global economy. This is really Industrial Revolution 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
We are shifting the primary driver of economic value from muscle to mind. It is a massive opportunity to amplify human potential.
That is the optimistic take, for sure. But the nuclear analogy captures the risk profile much better, because we are trapped in what's known as a safety paradox. In a winner-take-all race, every actor is incentivized to cut corners on safety just to get there first.
Let me just finish this point. If you pause to test your safety brakes, you lose the lead. And unlike the space race, where the finish line was, a static flag on the moon, the finish line here is a recursive system that could theoretically escape human control.
The risks are real, I acknowledge that, but you cannot ignore the geopolitical necessity driving this. We're seeing the rise of silicon sovereignty.
Right, sovereign AI.
Yes. Nations like France and the UAE are realizing that if they rely on imported American or Chinese models, they are effectively importing foreign cultural values and security vulnerabilities. They are building domestic infrastructure to protect their digital borders. So the U.S. Stargate initiative isn't vanity. It is a necessary response to maintain the technological edge required to set global standards.
But that leadership narrative creates a dangerous illusion of control. We aren't just dealing with states anymore. We have this incredibly complex web of state corporate power. Megatech corporations are operating with the GDP and diplomatic clout of actual nation-states.
They are well-resourced, yes.
And look at the reaction from competitors. The PLA in China is already using models like DeepSeek for battle simulations. Their stated goal is winning through algorithms. This is the weaponization of cognitive speed. We're escalating tensions in a domain where mistakes happen in milliseconds. Think about lethal autonomous weapons or biological risks.
Competition often drives stability through deterrence, though. And let's look at the domestic impact. This competition drives immense productivity. Yes, labor will be displaced, just as it was when we moved from farms to factories.
The automation argument.
Hear me out. The wealth generated by AGI creates the fiscal space for substantial socioeconomic adaptations, perhaps even universal basic income, or UBI. We are looking at a future where the marginal cost of intelligence drops to nearly zero. That democratizes access to elite-level healthcare, education, legal services.
UBI is always touted as the silver bullet here. But history actually offers a pretty grim warning. Look at the Speen-Hamlin system from 1795.
The English wage subsidy?
Exactly. It was an early attempt at a wage subsidy to relieve poverty during a time of high grain prices, and it failed catastrophically. Instead of helping, it allowed employers to pay below subsistence wages because they knew the local parish would top it up. It trapped workers in poverty for decades.
That's a different economic
AGI risks hollowing out the middle class via cognitive automation much faster than the Industrial Revolution did. We could end up with a subsidized underclass and a trillionaire owner class with no ladder in between.
And that is precisely why governance is the missing piece of the puzzle. We need an IAEA for AI. Just as the International Atomic Energy Agency tracks fissile material, we can track the physical infrastructure of compute. High-end GPUs and massive data centers are physical, verifiable assets. If we treat compute as a controlled resource, international bodies can enforce standards.
The physics just doesn't support that comparison, though. You can track uranium enrichment, you cannot easily verify a black box software model. Software is inherently fragile. We are risking flash wars, which is automated escalation where algorithms react to algorithms faster than human diplomacy can intervene.
But if we regulate the hardware,
An IAEA-style inspection works for hardware, sure, but it struggles to contain a proliferation of weights and open-source code that can leak on a simple thumb drive. You can't inspect the intent of a neural network.
we have to try. The alternative is surrender. If we steer this correctly with strong national policy and international cooperation, AGI remains an engine of unprecedented growth. We cannot stop the technology, so we must govern it to ensure it remains a tool for human advancement.
I agree we cannot stop it, but without solving the verification problem, proving the software actually does what we think it does, the competitive pressure creates unacceptable catastrophic risk. We are basically building the engine while driving the car at maximum speed.
Well, ultimately, humanity is running the experiment, whether we are ready or not. There is clearly much more to explore here in the literature, but it is up to us to decide if this race leads to a moonshot or a crash.
Indeed. And history will judge us not by how fast we ran, but by whether we kept the wheels on.
Thanks for listening to Unplugged, the Physical Cost of AI.